Hello students, today I bring for you a new chapter and that is reproductive health. In this chapter, we are going to cover topics like reproductive health, problems and strategies, population explosion and birth control, medical termination of pregnancy, sexually transmitted diseases and infertility. So, let's start. First of all, what is reproductive health? According to World Health Organization (WHO), it defines reproductive health is a total well-being in all aspects of reproduction, that is physical, emotional, behavioral and social. Coming to problems and strategies, India initiated reproductive health program, that is family planning, in 1951. Wider reproduction related areas are in operation under the Reproductive Child Healthcare (RCH) programs. Next, such programs deal the following, that is give awareness about reproduction related aspects for creating a reproductive healthy society. Second, educate people about birth control, care of pregnant mothers, postnatal care of the mother and child, importance of breastfeeding, equal opportunities for male and female child, etc. and awareness of problems due to population explosion, social evils like sex abuse and sex related crimes, etc. Next is aims and needs of sex education in schools. Here, to provide right information about sex related aspects, it helps to avoid sex related myths and misconceptions. To give proper information about reproductive organs, adolescence and related changes, safe and hygienic sexual practices, sexual transmitted diseases and AIDS, etc. Population explosion and birth control. Let's see what your NCERT says here. Here what is given. First of all, according to World Health Organization, reproductive health means a total well-being in all aspects of reproduction, that is physical, emotional, behavioral and social. Therefore, a society with people having physically and functionally normal reproductive organs and normal emotional and behavioral interactions among them in all sex-related aspects might be called reproductively healthy society. Here are the problems. India was among the first countries in the world to initiate action plans and programs at a national level to attain total reproductive health as a social goal. These programs are called family planning. Were initiated in 1951. Remember. Here another question asked about the full form of RCH program. Reproductive and Child Healthcare. Remember. With creating awareness among people about various reproductive related aspects and providing facilities and support for build up a reproductively healthy society. First of all, what are the steps or tasks it takes? Now first of all, with the help of audiovisual and print media, governmental and NGOs, non-governmental agencies have taken various steps to create awareness among the people about reproduction related aspects. Parents, other close relatives, teachers and friends also have a major role in the dissemination of the above information. Introduction of sex education in schools should also encourage to provide right information to the young so as to discourage children from believing in myths and having misconceptions about sex related aspects. And proper information about reproductive organs, adolescence and related changes, safe and hygienic sexual practices, sexually transmitted diseases, AIDS, etc. would help people, especially those in the adolescent age group, to lead a reproductively healthy society. Next, here another thing, it is marked that statutory ban on amniocentesis for sex determination to legally check increasing maintenance of female foeticide, massive child immunization, etc. are some programs that merit mentions in this connection. What is amniocentesis? Here it is given. Now in amniocentesis, Some of the amniotic fluid of the developing fetus is taken to analyze the fetal cells and dissolved substances. This procedure is used to test the presence of certain genetic disorders such as Down syndrome, hemophilia, sickle cell anemia, etc. Determine the survivability of the fetus. We will see through diagrams in that PDF. First, just listen. What is amniocentesis? That is a particular test where some of the amniotic fluid of the developing fetus. We all know inside the womb what happened. Now, while the growing fetus, the outer side membrane having some type of fluids. It is taken out to analyze the fetal cells and dissolved substances, where some chromosomes are also present, so that we can also attain the genetic disorders like Down syndrome, hemophilia, sickle cell anemia, etc. But what people do, people misuse this type of test, and they also check the fetus sex, that is male or female. That's why it is banned in India. Here are some more points that are given. Saheli about. A new oral contraceptive for females was developed by scientists at the CDRI, Central Drug Research Institute, that is in Lucknow. Details are also afterwards, you can see. Better awareness about sex-related matters, increased number of medical assisted deliveries and better postnatal care leading to decreased maternal and infant mortality rate. Increased number of couples with small families, better detection and cure of STDs, that is sexual transmitted diseases, and overall increased medical facilities for all sex-related problems, etc. all indicates improved reproductive health of the society. Before starting this topic, let's see what your PDF says. Population explosion and birth control. Here it is given, in 90s, the world population was around 2 billion, that is 2000 million. By 2000, it rocketed to about 6 billion. And in India, population was nearly 350 million at the time of independence, that is 1947. It reaches 1 billion by 2000 and crossed 1.2 billion in May 2011. It means every sixth person in the world is an Indian. According to 2011 census report, our population growth rate was less than 2%, that is 20 upon 100 upon year. That is 20 individuals are added in every 1000 in every year, in each year. A rate which our population could increase rapidly. And what are the reasons for population explosion? Now, first of all, increased health facilities and better living conditions. It is the first. Second, a rapid decline in death rate, maternal mortality rate (MMR) and infant mortality rate (IMR). Previously, what happened during delivery? There are not particular proper health facilities or better living conditions are not there in previous years. That's why the maternal mortality rate was high and even the infant mortality rate also high. But nowadays what happened? Why the population explosion occur? Because increased health facilities and better living conditions. A rapid decline in death rate, maternal mortality rate and infant mortality rate. Increase in number of people in reproducible ages. So these are the three reasons of population explosion. Next, impact of population explosion. First of all, scarcity of basic requirements, that is food, shelter and clothing. It is the impact of population explosion. Coming to control and measures. Motivate small families by using contraceptive methods. Aware peoples about a slogan, Hum do and Hamare do, we too and our too. Many couples have adopted a one-child norm. And statutory rising of marriageable age of female, that is 18 years, and male, that is 21 years. So this is how our government controls the population explosion. Contraceptive methods. Before starting this, let's see the NCERT, what it says here. Same points are given. Again, reminder. The world population, which was around 2 billion in 19th, rocketed to about 6 billion in 2000 and 7.2 billion in 2011. Similar trend also observed in India too. That is, our population was approximately 350 million at the time of our independence and reaches close to a billion, that is in 2000, and crossed 1.2 billion in May 2011. Because of the rapid decline in death rate, maternal mortality rate and infant mortality rate, as well as increase in the number of people in reproducible ages are probable reasons for this. Through RCH program, though we could bring down the population growth rate, it was only marginal. According to 2011 census report, the population growth rate was less than 2%. That is, 20 new peoples are added in every 1,000 persons in each year, a rate at which our population could increase rapidly. So here it is given, the government and NGOs are also taking some steps to motivate people about the small families by using various contraceptive methods, and also advertisements in the media as well as poster bills etc. showing happy couple with 2 children with a slogan "Hum do and Hamare do." And many people, mostly the young urban and working ones, have even adopted one child norm and statutory raising of marriageable age of females to 18 years and the male to 21 years. Next coming to contraceptive methods. First of all, why one should choose the contraceptive methods? First of all, it is a method which prevents the unwanted pregnancies. So, an ideal contraceptive method should be user friendly, easily available, effective and reversible with no or least side effects. It also should in no way interfere with the sexual drive, desire or the sexual act of the user. A wide range of contraceptive methods are presently available, which could be broadly grouped into following categories, namely natural or traditional, barrier, IUDs, that is intrauterine devices, oral contraceptives, injectable, implants and surgical methods. Let's see what the PDF says, then we are coming to NCERT. First of all, properties of an ideal contraceptives. What are the points? As I told you, user friendly, easily available, effective, reversible, no or least side effects, and should not interfere with sexual drive, desire or sexual act. First of all, some are here, you can see. Some are natural or traditional methods. Second, barrier. Third, intrauterine devices. Fourth, oral contraceptives. Fifth, injectable. And sixth one is the surgical method, sterilization, which is the permanent method. Let's start the natural or traditional methods. That is, avoiding chances of ovum and sperm mating. Obviously, what is the condition for the pregnancy in a woman's body? That is when the ovum meets the sperm, fertilization. So if one can avoid the chances of the mating, then obviously there is no need of pregnancy. First of all, types of natural traditional methods. So how to identify this method naturally? First of all, periodic abstinence. Periodic abstinence. Here you can see in this cycle, one can easily find out. It is a natural or traditional method. Periodic abstinence, where, see the cycle first of all. We all know about the menstruation. The first 1 to 6th days is the bleeding period. Then the infertile days, from 6th to 10 or 11 days, that is the infertile days. And the fertility day starts from the 11th to the 16th. It is the fertility days. And again from 17th to 28th, that is the infertile days. So if Any couple who want to avoid the chances of ovum and sperm meeting, they can having intercourse in between the infertile days. That is from the day 6th to 10th and 17th to 28th, so that they can avoid the chances of ovum and sperm meeting. It is the type of natural traditional methods. First of all, see the periodic abstinence. Same points are given. Avoid coitus or intercourse from the day of 10th to 17th of the menstrual cycle, which is the fertile period. Obviously, one have to avoid sexual act during these days. Second is coitus interruptus, that is withdrawal method. What happen here? Now withdraw the penis from the vagina just before the ejaculation to avoid insemination. The person have to withdraw its penis from the vagina just before the ejaculation. When the sperm comes out, just before it, he have to withdraw his penis so that it avoid the insemination and the sperm. If the sperm does not goes inside the female body, then there is no chances of fertilization. And third is the lactational amenorrhea. It is the absence of menstrual cycle and ovulation due to intense lactation after parturition. Parturition means delivery of the baby. After the delivery, female body, the female having lactation period started and it occurs till 6 months. And within this period, menstruation also not happening in the female body as well as the ovulation, because it is absent. And fully breastfeeding increases lactation. This method helps to prevent conception. This is effectively up to 6 months following parturition. It has no side effect, but chances of failure are high. Second, coming to barrier method. What happen in this? They prevent physical meeting of sperm and ovum. They prevent physical meeting of sperm and ovum. Example: condoms, diaphragms, cervical caps and valves. First of all, coming to condoms. They are made up of rubber or latex sets. Condoms for male which cover the penis and condoms for female which cover the vagina and cervix. Condoms are used just before the coitus. They prevent the entry of semen into the female reproductive tract, and according to NCERT, Nirodhanam is mentioned, which is a popular condom for males. Here, they prevent physical meeting. Same points are given. Why condoms are very popular? Because it protects the user from STD and AIDS. First of all, it protects the user from sexually transmitted diseases and AIDS. It is disposable. It can be self-inserted and thereby gives privacy to the user. Self-inserted. Next, coming to diaphragm, cervical cap and valves. Let's see. It is made up of rubber and are inserted into the female reproductive tract to cover the cervix during coitus. It is made up of rubber which is inserted in the female reproductive tract which cover the cervix during coitus or intercourse. They block the entry of sperm through the cervix, and they are also reusable, and there are also some spermicidal creams, jellies and foams are used along with this barrier to increase the contraceptive efficiency. Next is intrauterine devices. Let's see. These are inserted by doctors or nurses in the uterus through the vagina. Intrauterine devices. They increase phagocytosis of the sperm. Phagocytosis, you are familiar with this term. Amoeba takes its food through the phagocytosis by using pseudopodia. So what amoeba doing inside the female body? Not the amoeba, but what happened? The sperm or the male gamete. It is a foreign particle for the female body. It is a foreign particle. So what happened? When the sperm goes inside the female reproductive tract, that is cervix and vagina, and then uterus, what happened? The WBC, white blood corpuscles, the WBC, they play the role of the phagocytosis. They think that the sperm cells are foreign material and they can cause some diseases. That's why they directly eat the sperm cells. So, what is the IUD's work? They increase the phagocytosis of the sperm. Third point, IUDs are ideal method to delay pregnancy or space children. And there are three different type of IUDs are there: non-medicated IUD, copper releasing IUD, and hormone releasing IUD. Let's see. First of all, the non-medicated IUDs. They retard sperm motility. Also have spermicidal effect. Example, Lippis loop. In this diagram, here you can see it is the Lippis loop diagram of Lippis loop. It is a non-medicated IUD, Lippis loop. Remember. Next is copper releasing IUD, where the copper ions suppress motility and fertility capacity of the sperm. Example, CUT, CU7, multiload 375. It is the CUT, CU7 and multiload 375. And what is the copper ions work? When the sperm comes in contact with the copper ions suppress or slow down the motility, movement of the sperm. And if the sperm slows down, then the phagocytosis increases and fertilizing capacity of the sperm. Examples are given here, you can see. Next is hormone releasing IUD. They make the uterus unsuitable for implantation and the cervix hostile to the sperms. Example, progesterone and LNG20. What happened? Now, hormonal releasing IUDs means they release some hormones so that the uterus does not make the endometrium, the blood lining, and through with the implantation and cervix hostile due to the sperms. Examples are given here. Remember the examples. Fourth is oral contraceptives. Oral administration of progesterone or progesterone-estrogen combination in the form of tablets, that is pills. Here, pills are taken daily for 21 days starting from within the first 5 days of the menstrual cycle. And after a gap of 7 days, that is the menstrual period, it should be repeated in the same pattern till the female desire to prevent conception. They inhibit ovulation and implantation at the thick cervical mucus to prevent entry of sperm. What they do, the oral contraceptives? They inhibit the ovulation and implantation and thick cervical mucus to prevent the entry of the sperm. And pills are very effective with lesser side effect. Here the term comes Saheli. New oral contraceptive for the females. It is developed by Central Drug Research Institute, CDRI, which is located in the Lucknow. It contains a non-steroidal preparations. It is once a week pill with a very few side effects and a higher contraceptive value. Fifth is injectable. Here what happens? Progesterone or progesterone-estrogen combination are used by females as injection or implants under the skin. Their mode of action is like that of pills and their effective periods are much longer. Progesterone or progesterone-estrogen combination and IUDs are used as emergency contraceptives within 72 hours of coitus. It is avoid pregnancy due to rape or casual intercourse. Here you can see these are the stick-like substances. These are injectable under the arm of the skin, and they release some hormones slowly, and they also act like pills, and their effective periods are much longer. And here one more point is given. Here what you can see, emergency contraceptives. These are used as emergency contraceptives within the 72 hours of intercourse. It avoids pregnancy due to rape or casual intercourses. Sixth is a surgical method or permanent method, also called sterilization. Here what happens? It helps to block gamete transport and thereby prevents conceptions. It is very effective, but reversibility is poor. And types are vasectomy and tubectomy. First of all, coming to vasectomy. Here what happens? Sterilization procedure in males, that is called vasectomy. In this, a small part of vas deferens is removed or tied up through a small incision of the scrotum. Here you can see it is the testis and then vas deferens. Small portion will be cut out and then tied up like this. It is a very minor process and it occurs in the male body. Coming to tubectomy, what happened? Sterilization procedure in females. In this, a small part of fallopian tube is removed or tied up through a small incision in the abdomen or through vagina. What happened here? As you can see, small portions of the fallopian tube or oviduct will be tied up and cut down. These are non-reversible, irreversible. Coming to side effect of anti-natural contraceptive methods. Side effects, what are the side effects? First of all, nausea, abdominal pain, breakthrough bleeding, irregular menstrual bleeding and breast cancer. Medical termination of pregnancy. Let's see what your NCERT says. Here you can see, coming to natural method, what are the principles of avoiding chances of ovum and sperm meeting? Periodic abstinence is one such method in which the couple avoid or abstain from coitus from day 10th to the 17th of the menstrual cycle when ovulation could be expected. And as the chances of fertilization are very high during this period, it is called the fertile period. Therefore, by abstaining from coitus during this period, conception could be prevented. Next is withdrawal or coitus interruptus is another method in which the male partner withdraws his penis from the vagina just before the ejaculation so as to avoid insemination. Next is lactational amenorrhea, which is the absence of menstruation. Method is based on the fact that ovulation and therefore the cycle do not occur during the period of intense lactation following parturition. And here you can see lactational amenorrhea. It occurs maximum period of 6 months following parturition and no medicine or devices are used in this method. Side effects are almost nil. Chances of failure though of this method are also high because in some females it occurs the period maybe minimized to 3 months or maybe maximized to 9 months also. In barrier method, ovum and sperm are prevented from physically meeting with the help of barriers. Such methods are available for both male and females. First of all, coming to condoms. Here you can see are barrier made up of thin rubber or latex cells that are used to cover the penis in the male and vagina and cervix in the female just before the coitus so that the ejaculated semen would not enter into the female reproductive tract. And as I told you, NCERT also mentioned Neroz is a popular brand of condom for males. Use of condoms has increased in recent years due to additional benefit of protecting the user from contracting STI, sexually transmitted infections and AIDS. Both the male and female condoms are disposable, can be self-inserted. There is no need of any doctor or nurses and thereby gives privacy to the user. Diaphragm, cervical caves and vaults are also barrier made up of rubber that is inserted in the female reproductive tract to cover the cervix during coitus. They prevent conceptions by blocking the entry of sperm through the cervix. They are reusable and including this, some spermicidal creams, jellies and foams are also used along with the barrier to increase the contraceptive efficiency. Next, another effective and popular method is of intrauterine devices, IUDs. These devices are inserted by doctors or expert nurses in the uterus through vagina. These IUDs are presently available as the non-medicated IUD, that is Lippis loop, copper-releasing IUD, CUT, CU7, multiple 375 and the hormone-releasing IUDs, Progesterone and LNG20. IUDs increase phagocytosis of sperm within the uterus and the copper ions released suppresses the sperm motility and the fertilization capacity of sperm. Coming to the hormone-releasing IUD, it makes the uterus unsuitable for implantation and the cervix hostile to the sperm. These are ideal contraceptives for the females who want a delayed pregnancy or a space children. It is one of the most widely accepted method of the contraception in India. Coming to oral administration of small doses of either progestrogens or progestrogen-estrogen combinations is another contraceptive method used by the females. They are usually in the form of tablet, hence called pills. Pills have to be taken daily for a period of 21 days, starting preferably within the first 5 days of menstrual cycle. And after the gap of 7 days, it has to be repeated in the same pattern till the female desire to prevent conceptions. They inhibit the ovulation and implantation as well as alter the quality of cervical mucus to prevent retard entry of the sperm. Pills are very effective with lesser side effect and are well accepted by the females. Saheli, the new oral contraceptive for the females containing a non-steroidal preparation. It is a once a week pill with very few side effects and high contraceptive values. Coming to progesterone alone or in combination with the estrogen can also be used by females as injections or implants under the skin. It is the same mode with the pills act and the effective periods are much longer coming to the pills. Administration of progesterone or progesterone-estrogen combination or IUDs within 72 hours of coitus have been found to be very effective as emergency contraceptives, as they could be used to avoid possible pregnancy due to rape or casual unprotected intercourse. Coming to surgical method, also called sterilization. It advised for both male and female partner as a terminal method to prevent any more pregnancies. Surgical interventions blocks the gamete transport and thereby prevent conceptions. Sterilization procedure in the male is called vasectomy and in female called tubectomy. In vasectomy, a small part of the vas deferens is removed or tied up through a small incision of the scrotum, whereas in tubectomy, a small part of the fallopian tube is removed or tied up through a small incision in the abdomen or through vagina. And coming to this portion, additional portion, the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Amendment Act 2017 was enacted by the Government of India with the intentions of reducing the incidence of illegal abortion and consequences maternal mortality and morbidity. According to this act, a pregnancy may be terminated on the certain considered grounds within the first 12 weeks of pregnancy on the opinion of one registered medical practitioner. If the pregnancy has lasted more than 12 weeks but fewer than 24 weeks, two registered medical practitioners must be of the opinion found in the good faith that the required ground exists. And what is the required ground exist? First of all, the continuation of the pregnancy would involve a risk to the life of the pregnant woman or a grave injury, physical or mental health. Or second, there is a substantial risk that of the child were born, it would suffer from the such physical or mental abnormality as to be seriously handicapped. And coming to the possible side effects, what are they? Here you can see nausea, abdominal pain, breakthrough the bleeding, irregular menstrual bleeding, or even breast cancer. Before starting the MTP, medical termination of pregnancy, let's see the PDF, what it says. Medical termination of pregnancy. Intentional or voluntary termination of the pregnancy before the full term is called MTP or induced abortion. Either it is intentional or voluntarily termination of the pregnancy before the full term. Full term means before the gestation period is called MTP or the induced abortion. 45 to 50 million MTPs are performed in a year all over the world. That is 1/5 of the total number of conceived pregnancies. MTP helps to decrease the population. Obviously, many countries have not legalized MTP due to the emotional, ethical, religious and social issues. Government of India legalized MTP in 1971 with some strict conditions to check illegal female foeticides. Here, Coming to importance, to avoid unwanted pregnancies due to casual intercourse or failure of the contraceptive used during the coitus or rapes. It is essential in case of where the continuation of pregnancy could be harmful to the mother or to the fetus or the both. Here you can see it is how the cutaway view of the mother's pelvis, where the speculum is used, cannula and tenaculum is used. A speculum is placed in the vagina, a tenaculum is clamped to the lip of the cervix, and a cannula is inserted in the uterus. And then here what happened? This fetus is removed. MTPs are safe during the first trimester. It is safe during the first trimester up to 12 weeks of the pregnancy, and second trimester abortion are very risky. Next, problems related within the MTP. First of all, majority of MTPs are performed illegally. Misuse of amniocentesis test for the fetal sex determination. If the fetus is female, it is followed by MTP, and such practices are dangerous for the young mother and the fetus. Here the amniocentesis clearly stated, I can see in this diagram. It is the amniotic fluid. It is the uterus of the female body, and here you can see the fluid inside the outer environment of the fetus. It is the amniotic fluid. And what happened? In this, some amniotic fluid of the fetus is taken to analyze the fetal cells and dissolved substances. It is the amniotic fluid. It taken out through the injections like this to analyze the fetal cells and dissolved substances. This is to test the presence of genetic disorders and survivability of the fetus. But some also perform it illegally and misuse it, and for the fetal sex determination. So in many countries it is banned. Government of India enacted the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Amendment Act 2017 to reduce illegal abortion and consequent maternal mortality and morbidity. According to this act, a pregnancy may be terminated within the first trimester, first 12 weeks of the opinion of a registered medical practitioner. The pregnancy is between 12 to 24 weeks, then two registered medical practitioners must be of the opinion. Next is sexually transmitted diseases. Let's see what NCERT says. Here again, same points are here. Intentional or voluntary termination of pregnancy before the full term is called medical termination of pregnancy, MTP, or induced abortion. Nearly 45 to 50 million MTPs are performed in a year all over the world, which accounts to the 1/5 of the total number of conceived pregnancies in a year. And it is whether to accept the legalized MTP or not being debated upon the many countries due to emotional, ethical, religious and social issues involved in it. And in India it is legalized in 1971 with some strict conditions to avoid the misuse. And why MTP? Obviously, get rid of unwanted pregnancies either due to casual unprotected intercourse or failure of the contraceptive used during the coitus or rapes. MTP are also essential in certain cases where continuation of pregnancy could be harmful or even fatal either to the mother or to the fetus or both. MTP considers relatively safe during the first trimester, that is up to 12 weeks of the pregnancy, and second trimester abortions are much riskier. And again the amniocentesis also mentioned here, you can see. Next, sexually transmitted diseases or infections, STIs. Let's see in the PDF here. Diseases transmitted through sexual intercourse are called sexually transmitted diseases or infections, STDs or STIs, or another name is there, that is venereal disease, VD, or reproductive tract infections, RTI. all are the same names. Remember, sexually transmitted diseases, STDs, or infections, STIs, or venereal diseases, VD, or reproductive tract infections, RTI. Example: gonorrhea, syphilis, genital herpes, chlamydiasis, genital wart, trichomoniasis, hepatitis B, HIV leading to the AIDS. Here some diagrams are there. In syphilis, the condition will be like this in the diagram: gonorrhea, genital herpes, and genital wart. First of all, hepatitis B and HIV are also transmitted by sharing of injection needles, surgical instruments, etc. Second, by transfusion of the blood. Third, from infected mother to the fetus. Except hepatitis B, genital herpes and HIV, other diseases are completely curable if detected early and treated properly. You can see how they spread. First of all, unprotected sex with an infected partner. Second, transmission from the infected mother to the fetus, sharing needle with the infected person, and infections from blood products. Coming to symptoms. Early symptoms like itching, fluid discharge, slight pain, swelling, etc. in genital region. Absence or less significant early symptoms and the social stigma determine the infected persons to consult a doctor, and this leads to the complications such as pelvic inflammatory diseases, PID, abortions, stillbirth. Stillbirth means delivery of the baby without proper growth, and if that baby will be delivered before the 9 month period, that is stillbirth means the fetus already dead inside the female uterus. Ectopic pregnancies means, here the diagram is given, as you can see, ectopic pregnancy. We all know the uterus, inside the uterus, the zygote planted in the uterus in this portion. But during ectopic pregnancy, the zygote planted in the oviduct, not in the uterus. It is called ectopic pregnancies. Then coming to preventions. First of all, avoid sex with unknown partner or multiple partners. Second, always use condoms during coitus. And third is in case of doubt, go to a qualified doctor for early detections and get complete treatment. All persons are vulnerable to STD. There are very high among persons in the age group of 15 to 24 years. Next is infertility. What is infertility? Let's see. It is the inability to conceive or produce children even after 2 years of unprotected sexual cohabitation. That is called infertility. The reason for this may be physical, congenital diseases, drugs, immunological, or even psychological. These disorders can be treated in infertility clinic using assisted reproductive technologies, ART. Full form is the assisted reproductive technologies. First of all, let's see. These technologies used to correct the infertility problems. And what comes in the ART? First of all, in vitro fertilization, IVF, test tube baby program, GIFT, that is gamete intrafallopian transfer, GIFT. Third is ICSI, intracytoplasmic sperm injection, ICSI. Fourth, artificial insemination, AI. And the final is the surrogacy. Let's see. First of all, in vitro fertilization, IVF, test tube baby program. What happened here? In this method, ova from the wife or donor and the sperm from the husband or donor are collected and are induced to the form zygote under stimulated condition in the laboratory. This is followed by embryo transfer, ET. Here you can see, first of all, collections of the egg from the female donor and collection of the sperm from the male donor or the husband, and then fertilization occur in the outside of the female body, that is in the laboratory, and then it is again after the fertilization, after the formation of zygote and then embryo, it then again transported in the female uterus. It is of two types. In the zygote intrafallopian transfer ZIFT and intrauterine transfer IUT. Let's see what is the ZIFT. Zygote intrafallopian transfer, where the transfer of the zygote or early embryo with up to 8 blastomeres in the fallopian tube. Remember, it occurs, that is the transfer of zygote or the early embryo with up to 8 blastomeres into the fallopian tube, that is called ZIFT. And coming to IUT, intrauterine transfer, it is the transfer of the embryo within more than 8 blastomeres into the uterus. If it is more than 8 blastomeres, then it transfers to the uterus. And if it is less than 8 blastomere, then it transfers to the fallopian tube. Embryos found by in vivo fertilization, that is fertilization within the female, is also used for such transfer to assist those females who cannot conceive. Second is gamete intrafallopian transfer. Here you can see transfer of an ovum from a donor into the fallopian tube or of another female who cannot produce ovum but can provide suitable environment for fertilization and development. It is called GIFT, gamete intrafallopian transfer. Here directly the gamete transfer into the fallopian tube. Next, ICSI, intracytoplasmic sperm injection, where a laboratory procedure in which a single sperm from the male partner is injected directly into an egg from female partner. After the fertilization, the embryo is implanted into the woman's uterus. See the diagram. The sperm is injected inside the ovum. It is the ICSI, intracytoplasmic sperm injection. Next is artificial insemination, AI technique, where the semen collected from husband or donor is artificially introduced into the vagina or the uterus of the female. AI into the uterus is known as intrauterine insemination. This technique is useful for the male partner having inability to inseminate female or low sperm counts. It is AI, artificial insemination. And fifth is surrogacy. Here a woman or a surrogate mother bears a child for a couple who are unable to produce children because the wife is infertile or unable to carry. The surrogate is impregnated through artificial insemination or implantation of an embryo produced by IVF. Coming to the problems of ART, it requires high precision handling by specialized professionals and expensive instrumentation. Therefore, these facilities are available only in very few centers in the India or in all over the world. Emotional, religious and social problems are problems of ART. Next is legal adoption is one of the best method for couples looking for parenthood. They can adopt an orphan. Let's see what your NCERT says. Here you can see infections or diseases which are transmitted through sexual intercourse are collectively called sexually transmitted infections or venereal disease VD or reproductive tract infections RTI. Gonorrhea, syphilis, genital herpes, chlamydiasis, genital wart, trichomoniasis, hepatitis B, and of course the most discussed infection in recent year, that is HIV, leading to AIDS. Among these, HIV infections is most dangerous, which will be discussed in the chapter 7. Some of these infections like hepatitis B and HIV can also be transmitted by sharing injection needles, surgical instruments, etc. with the infected person. Transfusion of blood or from an infected mother to the fetus, except hepatitis B, genital herpes, HIV infections, the other diseases are completely curable if they detected early and treated properly. Early symptoms of the most of these are minor, including itching, fluid discharge, slight pain, swelling in the genital region. Next, here it says the PID, full form is asked, pelvic inflammatory diseases, abortion, stillbirth, ectopic pregnancy, infertility, or even cancer of the reproductive tract. And it is very high among the age group of the 15 to 24 year. So, how one can prevent this type of infections? By avoiding sex with unknown partners or multiple partners. Always try to use condoms during coitus. And the third one is in case of doubt, one should be go to a qualified doctor for early detections and get complete treatment if diagnosed with infections. Coming to infertility, a large number of couples all over the world, including India, are infertile. That is, they are unable to produce children in spite of the unprotected sexual cohabitation. The reason may be many physical, congenital diseases, drugs, immunological, or even psychological. Mainly in India, often the female is blamed for the couple being childless, but more often than not, the problem lies in the male partner. Specialized healthcare units, infertility clinics could help in diagnosis and corrective treatment of some of these disorders and enable these couples to have children. And the technique is known as assisted reproductive technologies, ART. In vitro fertilization, IVF, that is fertilization outside the body, is almost similar condition as to in the body, followed by embryo transfer is one of such method. In this method, popularly known as test tube baby program, ova from the wife or donor and sperm from the husband or donor are collected and are introduced to form zygote under the stimulated conditions in the laboratory. The zygote or the early embryo with up to 8 blastomeres could then be transferred into the fallopian tube, that is ZIFT, zygote intrafallopian transfer, and embryo with more than 8 blastomere into the uterus, that is the IUT, intrauterine transfer, to complete its further development. Embryos found by in vivo fertilization, which occurs normally in female body, there is the fusion of gametes within the female, that is called in vivo fertilization, also could be used for such transfer to assist those females who cannot conceive. Then transfer of an ovum collected from a donor into the fallopian tube, that is GIFT, gamete intrafallopian transfer of another female who cannot produce one but can provide a suitable environment for fertilization and further development is another method attempted. Intracytoplasmic sperm injection, ICSI, is another specialized procedure to form an embryo in the laboratory in which a sperm is directly injected into the ovum. And coming to, if any male partner have very low sperm count, then it can be corrected by AI, artificial insemination. In this technique, the semen collected either from the husband or a healthy donor is artificially introduced either into the vagina or into the uterus. And IUI, intrauterine insemination of the female. And with this chapter is completed. And also it is given in the last point, one have to adapt to some children who are orphan and who need the parenthood. And with this chapter is completed. Thank you for watching this video and do like this video. Do not forget to comment, and new viewers please subscribe my channel. Thank you. Jai Jagannath.